So, this has been hard to write about, and it's been hard to talk about. I really started writing I've been writing my whole life, and I started writing a lot more about 4 months ago, and realized that the words just flew out onto the paper, 5, 10, 15 pages at a time, about the growth journey that I'm on. And I've realized through all of the connections that I've had recently that I've really grown through all of them. And one of the things that I realized early on in this journey is that I see things in black and white, or I did. And one of the new quotes that I've learned to integrate is that two truths can be true at once. And it's become a reoccurring theme that I have to remind myself of. So recently had a connection with someone, and for the first time, maybe ever, I felt like I could finally set the bags down. All of the weight of the world and the weight of everybody else's responsibilities and everybody else's emotions that I feel responsible for, that I finally could feel safe enough to set them down for a moment. And when I realized that this connection couldn't be anything more, I spiraled, and I was like, I don't even know this person. Like, what the hell is going on? So for weeks I analyzed, and the whole time I was sad. And I finally came to the realization that I wasn't missing a person. I was missing a feeling. And if it's a feeling, then I can change that. I can create that feeling again. A feeling of freedom, a feeling of weightlessness, a feeling of surrender. And so that's my goal, that my life is filled with more of the moments of laying the bags down and not carrying them than the times that I am. And that's not something that can happen overnight. And then the next part of that I'm realizing is I really want to see integration of my life. I feel like my life is disjointed. One business, another business, my home life, my personal life, my life with my kids. I have my kids every other week, and so I have 1 week without kids and 1 week with kids. That's a drastic change just in itself. I have every other day at a different office, in a different state, different group of people. And really, I have no place that feels like home, other than maybe the camper, which can't be more than temporary for the warm months. So finding a home that my kids and I can reliably come home to and know what we're expecting when we get there, and our rhythm isn't thrown off by other people in the house, and really focusing on repairing some bonded relationship where I chose to eat vegan for 2 years out of somebody else's request, even though it was clearly not healthy for me. I gained 20 pounds and felt encouraged to do so. Yeah, my boob size went up, so that was a positive. Unhealthy, super unhealthy, and it could have been stress, but it was also probably processed food, more processed food than I normally eat, and I eat fairly well. Just stopped off at Trader Joe's it's halfway on my 2-hour plus commute, and got some healthy food. We're gonna make juice this week. I bought a juicer and the kids and I juice together. It's great. And I'm just like thinking about how to create more time in a safe environment for my kids emotionally. And that's by having our own space. So that is why the camper project is so important to me, and I work on it every moment I can. It's become a sanctuary of sorts. Not just inside the camper, but the surrounding area as well. We have like an outdoor bin that has like our favorite workout equipment and outdoor equipment in it. We have golf clubs, we have paddle boards, cushions, our balance board, a roller, weights. We have a like ninja outdoor obstacle course outside that the kids are practicing to get across. We have rings to do pull-ups on. We have a sauna in our space. I just bought a new workout ball to do some more balance exercises. I got the kids some little weights recently, so I had 8-pound weights. I bought them 3-pound weights. I don't necessarily believe in weights for kids, but I feel like at 3 pounds, I think we're all right. I have an outdoor mat so we can like lay on the ground and work out. Our sleeping mattresses in our camper are actually outdoor camping mats, so we can pull them outside and lay under the stars, and we do. We have a hammock out there. The other night I was out there by myself, and before I went to bed I sat in the hammock for a few minutes and was so pleasantly surprised to start to see the fireflies again. It was magical. I did it 2 nights in a row, and I'm excited to have a night to sit out there and do that with the kids. We did sleep in the house last night, which is the first time I've slept in a house in 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks. And that was only because I had to leave early this morning, and the kids don't want to wake up in the camper by themselves, which I feel more comfortable about that. I am blessed. My dad drives the kids into work for me, or into school for me on the days that I leave early for work. So that is awesome. And the camper is filled with twinkle lights and soft curtains in front of my bed. It's just been a long, hard journey on the camper. I thought it would be mostly interior work, and it ended up being that I needed to reseal the whole roof, which I call thankless work. I ripped out some of the ceiling, ripped out some cabinets, put a ceiling back up, reinstalled the cabinets with the kids. By the way, I've had virtually zero help from anyone else. So it's just been me mostly, and then my kids when I absolutely can't do it without another set of hands. And they've helped me with like little things. I did teach my oldest about some electrical and safety around electrical, and we rewired some wires when we were putting the ceiling back up that needed to be put back in. We did some blessing of the camper, so inside some structural supports that I put up on the ceiling before I closed it in, roof supports. We wrote blessings on the wood supports and people that we love on the supports before we closed up the roof, our ceiling. I took off the vents. Well, there were no vents, sorry. The dome over the shower, and put vents on, sealed everything on the roof. I have the stuff to do the rubber roof, but I've got to get up there and do that. That's going to be a couple day job, so I've got to clean it first, then prime it, then let it cure, then paint. So that's on my agenda of things to do. But at this point the roof is sealed, so I'm pretty happy with that. I also have to seal the outside walls, which means clean, prime, and seal. I happen to really not like the sealer. It's clear, and it just shows all the dirt that's underneath even after you clean it. And then also it kind of always seems to stay sticky, so I don't really like it. It's not like regular caulk when you use it. It does actually spread much better with your finger, just like caulk though. So learned that lesson the hard way. So I've got to seal the whole outside of the camper. I also I took out all of the furniture that was in there. So a little dinette and couch were removed. I thought that was going to reduce weight. It didn't. It was probably like total 40 pounds. I mean, they build these things so lightweight. It's great. But there's no flooring on the slide. So now I've got to install flooring. But to install the flooring, there's some bolts that stick out that were behind the furniture that you would have never seen if you didn't pull it out. So I've got to make little boxes to go over that. I've got to paint the wall where the things weren't painted behind any of the furniture and stuff that was there, and put this floor down, which the floor is peel and stick, which is great. But you know, it goes over the edge, so I have some edge trim that'll need to be installed nicely. The biggest thing is that, like, and part of the reason why I took out the furniture too is because I read this book, Built to Move. I also read Born to Run. Both books really changed how I viewed my body and what I do to stay healthy. And some of the things that Built to Move taught me was to sit on the floor as much as possible. It forces you naturally to move your hips and stretch your hips in ways that our bodies were supposed to move. So our bodies aren't built to sit in chairs all the time. So floor sitting is the goal in this camper, and we really can't floor sit too much right now without that floor being done, or eat in there. I have a low table, so we're gonna floor sit to eat dinner in there. And the other thing is squatting is really good. Full squats all the way down. At work in New York, I have a balance board, which I stand on during meetings for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how long the meeting is. And I was squatting, full squats on it the other day. And what I noticed, very interesting, is that when I get past 90 degrees on my knees, which would be like a seated position in a chair, my strength between 90 degrees to all the way down is so bad that on the balance board I'm just shaking like uncontrollably. I can stand on the balance board on one foot, no problem, but I can't stand on 2 feet all the way down. I also do not have the flexibility required to keep my heels down when I squat all the way down. And I've tested this with a lot of people. After I read that book, I was like, guys, you gotta try this. Let me see your flexibility. So I want to see where mine is in comparison, you know? And I do have to say that the people like my sister who are super flexible, she does yoga, she did dance, she can squat all the way down, heels down, no problem. So I realized that this is an issue for me, and something stemming from my hip surgeries, and I'll go into that on a different video. But the whole goal is to center my life around health and help my kids to focus on it too, so they're making better choices, not just now but for the rest of their lives. And a lot of the work to be done has become clearer because of the connection really that I've had recently, that allowed me to see more clearly where the issues are. So moving toward it, I say one little fucking piece at a time. Excuse my language, but that's where I'm at. I'm gonna rebuild a life that's aligned with me, one little fucking piece at a time. Hope you're on the same journey. I hope you're doing well.